In the winter of 1848, America was still a young nation, stretched, hopeful, but far from complete. And then something happened. Something so small yet powerful enough to reshape the destiny of a country. A single gold nugget. When news broke that gold had been found in California, Americans across the entire continent were stunned. Within months, the nation was swept by a wave of excitement, fear, ambition, and opportunity. A wave that would push hundreds of thousands of people westward. Today, we explore the true story behind the legendary gold rush of 1849 and how it transformed the United States forever. Before gold fever struck, California was nothing like the bustling state we know today. In 1848, it was a vast, remote land, largely untouched, sparsely populated, and unknown to most Americans. The West was a frontier of cowboys, hunters, small ranchers, and Native American tribes who had lived there for thousands of years. There were no major cities, no railroads, and barely any economic activity. Just wilderness stretching endlessly into the horizon. To the American mind, the West was a distant dream, far away, mysterious, and difficult to reach. But all of that was about to change because of one man and one quiet moment by a river. On January 24, 1848, a carpenter named James Marshall was inspecting a sawmill project along the American River. As the water shimmered in the morning sun, something caught his eye. A tiny glint. A sparkle buried in the sand. He picked it up, examined it, and realized it was gold. Word spread slowly at first. But once newspapers confirmed the discovery, America exploded with excitement. People abandoned their farms, quit their jobs, and rushed to California with a single dream: to strike it rich. By 1849, nearly 300,000 people from across the world were on their way. They would later be known as the 49ers. This was no ordinary migration. It was one of the largest human movements in American history. The gold rush brought people from every corner of the world. Farmers from Ohio, bankers from New York, blacksmiths from Europe, and thousands of immigrants from China, Mexico, and South America. Some traveled by wagon for months across deserts and mountains. Others sailed from the East Coast, around South America, or crossed the deadly jungles of Panama. Everyone came with the same hope: find gold, change their lives. California's population skyrocketed from just 14,000 people in 1848 to over 200,000 by 1850. Mining camps became chaotic, crowded micro-cities overnight. People lived in tents, cooked over fires, and fought the cold, the hunger, and sometimes each other. Yet the hope of gold kept them going. The gold rush didn't just bring miners, it brought opportunity and entire new economies. Almost overnight, towns like Sacramento and San Francisco began to explode with life. New businesses appeared everywhere. Saloons, supply shops, hotels, blacksmiths, barbers, banks, and more. And here's the twist. Most of the true gold rush millionaires were not the miners. They were the entrepreneurs. The people who sold shovels, tents, boots, food, and tools were the ones who got rich. Levi Strauss, yes, the creator of Levi's jeans, began by selling durable pants to miners who needed clothing tough enough for the work. The gold rush turned California into one of the busiest commercial hubs in the world, long before it became the home of Hollywood or Silicon Valley. But the truth is, gold mining was brutal. Most miners didn't strike it rich. Days were long, cold, and backbreaking. A typical day meant digging, panning and freezing rivers, or hammering rock with handmade tools. Supplies were expensive, food was scarce, and diseases, accidents, or conflict could end a miner's life at any moment. Still, every morning, thousands of men woke up believing, "Today might be the day I find gold." That hope kept the gold rush alive. The population boom was so massive that the US government had no choice but to act. In 1850, just 2 years after gold was discovered, California officially became a state. This changed everything. Suddenly, America was no longer an East Coast nation. It was a continental power with territory stretching from the Atlantic to the Pacific. San Francisco became one of the most important ports on Earth, linking the United States directly to Asian trade routes. The gold rush didn't just reshape California, it reshaped America's place in the world. But progress always has a cost, and the gold rush carried a heavy one. Native American communities were pushed off their ancestral lands. Many were displaced, mistreated, or killed in conflicts with miners and militias. Rivers and forests were devastated by reckless mining techniques. Tons of mercury and sediment poisoned California's water for decades. Mining camps were filled with violence, theft, and lawlessness. Disputes over claims often turned deadly. Behind the dream of gold was a reality of suffering for many. It remains one of the most tragic chapters of the gold rush legacy. And yet, despite the chaos, despite the danger and the losses, the gold rush left a mark that shaped the future of the United States. It transformed California into a global powerhouse, a center of culture, technology, innovation, and opportunity. It built cities, ports, industries, and a new Pacific economy that still defines the modern world. The gold rush did not just uncover gold, it uncovered ambition, courage, immigration, expansion, and the unstoppable drive that would propel America into the industrial age. All of this began with a tiny glimmer in the water, a small gold nugget found by chance. From that moment, history shifted. The American West changed forever, and the United States stepped into a new era, one filled with growth, conflict, opportunity, and transformation. The gold rush of 1849 was more than a hunt for fortune. It was a turning point, a spark that ignited one of the greatest migrations in American history and helped build the nation we know today.